So this is the first piece of mine on the festival, which is crazy because I feel like I've been thinking about this for like a year and a half. And it's been in the works for so long. And because of Corona and everything, it just was like, is this even going to happen? And so I have to, every time I get nervous, I just remind myself that like 2 months ago, I didn't even think anything like this would happen. And I didn't even think I was going to be here. So I'm very grateful. And that helps with the nerves a little bit. As a very young child, music was my way of understanding the world and my way of relating to the world. So music provided a language for me to communicate with people and to understand the world and to process data.
Hun en ung, fremadstormende komponist som vi ikke har hørt så mye om i Norge, men som veldig stor i USA, og som får bestilling fra virkelig hele verden, og som har skrevet veldig mye opera, både for The Met i New York og norske opera. Så vi var heldige som fikk liksom henne hit nå, akkurat nå, for det tror jeg blir vanskeligere i fremtiden, når noen så på farta.
The older I get, I feel like I am interested in making music to help people feel less alone. That experience, whether it's looking at a painting or listening to a symphony or reading a book or something where you feel like, oh, this person sees me, this person has created this just for me. That is the best possible feeling, and it's a feeling of being less alone in yourself, even if you're communicating with an artist who's been dead for 200 years. So I think that art has the power to do that. Music certainly has the power to do that, and that's what I'm interested in tapping into.
Jeg tror hun treffer veldig mange. Jeg tror hun treffer et veldig bredt publikum. Og jeg merker jo nå når vi jobber med orkestret her også, som du kan se ganske svært bak meg, at det er veldig positivt. Folk har en veldig umiddelbar opplevelse av musikken, så den treffer veldig fort. Samtidig så, for min del, som har jobbet med det en stund, så føler jeg at det vokser også hele tiden. Det er stadig noe nytt jeg oppdager, og mye måter å variere det på, avhengig av hvilket rom jeg i, hvem jeg spiller med.
I think that we're making great progress in terms of evening out the gender balance in the music field, but it still has such a long way to go. And frequently when I'm traveling, when I'm performing, I'm the only woman in the room. And I just thought, there has to be a way to use some of the success that I was having, and the access that I was gaining to major institutions and sources of funding and performers, and to just direct a little bit of that towards extremely young women who were just starting out. So Luna Lab is a program that I started 6 years ago along with my friend and colleague, the composer Ellen Reed, in collaboration with the Kaufman Music Center, which is an educational institution in New York City. And we started this program with the idea of trying to close the gender gap in musical composition and in the music field in general. And we do this by providing year-round mentorship and performances and support and networking opportunities to female, non-binary, and gender non-conforming composers ages 12 to 18. So very, very young composers who are just starting out. The first piece is by Madeline Clara Chang. It's called Ceiling Stars. And Madeline is currently 17 years old. She's a composer, saxophone player, and pianist from San Francisco. Ceiling Stars is a work that she says is about childhood hopes and dreams. The piece begins with a sort of longing nostalgia, and then at the end blossoms into this section that is about reaching for and dancing with the stars. So hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much. I have so many different inspirations. And they're changing all the time. But there are some people who have continually inspired me throughout my whole life. So composers like Meredith Monk, Philip Glass, John Luther Adams, older composers like Berio, Louis Andriessen, who was my teacher in the Netherlands, David Lang. I mean, there's quite a few, but those have been sort of, I feel like, with me from the beginning. When I first moved to New York 15 years ago, I was very inspired by the way that they lived and the way that they seemed to be doing all sorts of different things, performing and composing and teaching and conducting. So I've really modeled my life and career after them, even though my music, it's not minimalist. It's very much its own thing. But I think just in terms of how to live a life as a composer in the 21st century, they were the most influential. An artist living today can't help but be modern if they're honest with themselves, and I think that whatever you are creating that is a reflection of your own time or your own experience, and that is an honest reflection of that, will be inherently modern and will be inherently original. So I try not to think about, is this modern, is this experimental, is this crossing some sort of line? I mean, I'll leave that for history to figure out. I just try to create the music that only I can create and to continually be honest.